Hey there, how is everybody this evening? Thanks for coming in and spending some time. It's Monday, y'all. It's Monday. And how has your Monday been? It's a good question. It's always a good question. How has your Monday been? How has your Monday been? Yes, I'm good. God's desire for me, I am good. How are you? So the weather was kind of we had a little bit of weather today. So, but not long, like from 10 till maybe 1. And then that was it. The storm moved on and everything. You taught yourself how to knit. Good deal. I am amazed when people tell me that because I don't know that I could have taught myself how to cast on. Um, Over the years, I've learned several methods, but um, yeah, the method that um, I was taught when I learned was I don't know that I would ever have figured out how to do that. But we didn't have videos back then. Yeah, we had thunderstorms. It wasn't really bad. We might have had some pea-sized hail for 5 minutes. Um, some straight line winds, but yeah, it's like the last day of March, and March wanted to go out with the storm. Okay, fine. The pearl stitch has been my challenge. Yeah, no, knitting pearl doesn't. Um, the pearl stitch doesn't. To me, it's I don't know how to say it. I haven't had any problem with that. My problem, um, for the longest was the yarn over. Hey, Unicorn Lady Tech. And I know it sounds funny that the yarn over um, would give you problems, but I didn't learn it as a yarn over. That wasn't what I was taught. I was just taught that um, you do this. You put the needle in, and you wrap the yarn around it, and you pull it through, right? And so, but I wasn't taught it was called a yarn over. And so I can never remember which way it went, whether it was clockwise or counterclockwise. Um, and for a longest time, I did it wrong. And it's not really wrong. It's just, well, it's wrong, but it's the other way. Instead of going one way, I went the other way, and I can't remember which one it is. Um, and I'm not trying to confuse anybody, but it's called a twisted stitch. So it puts a twist in the stitch if you do it the wrong way. Um, and you can tell when your stitches are on straight and when they're on twisted. Um, it looks a little bit different, but there's a pattern that I like. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's a twisted rib hat. It's I don't think it's the boyfriend hat. I don't think it's the sailor's hat, but it's one of those patterns that has a name. But yeah, I do continental too, and that's why I have a problem with it because the way I grab that yarn, there's two ways to do it, and I used to do it the wrong way. That's all I'm gonna say. But like I said, I eventually I figured out. um, the right way to do it. But quickly decided I like crochet better, so I taught myself to crochet. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do continental as well. Um, I can do both. Because when I learned continental when I was in college. I saw somebody doing it the other way, and what is the other way called? I can't remember what it is, but she did it the other way, and I was like, show me. And so she showed me how to do it. And one of the things that did for me was it increased my speed. Once I realized that once I learned how to do it the other way, my speed increased. And then I went back to Continental, and my speed in Continental was faster. So go figure. I'm just amazed that people can teach themselves how to crochet. And then crocheting, not so much, because crocheting is just slip knots. It's just a series of slip knots that you make with a tool instead of by hand. And people do crochet completely by hand with no hook. But I just don't understand how. I mean, not understand. I'm just amazed when people say that I taught myself how to do that, or even I learned from a video or a book or whatever. It's like the first people who did it, mm, them was some brilliant people. That's all I can say. The first ones who did it. But yeah, I'm crocheting right now. Haven't been crocheting lately because I just don't know why. I don't know why. Um, Probably just haven't felt the urge to do so. I've got a big project that I'm working on that I should be working on, and I think I want to finish it by Easter, so I probably should work on it. I'm currently making a shawl. It does have some imperfections, but I'm learning. Okay, nice. I've made very few shawls. I made one shawl last year, year before last. It's called Shawl Good. It's a crochet shawl. Blech. Say that real say that real fast. 3 times. It's a tongue twister. It's a crochet shawl, and I made it last year. But I'm also not a shawl person. I gave it to my sister. She likes it. It turned out pretty well, but the pattern was it had some irregularities or something in there. I should say that maybe I should say the pattern. Well, no, it wasn't hard for me to follow. I understood what it was supposed to look like, and I made it look like that. Um, but I didn't follow the pattern to get to that place. So that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, I knew what it was supposed to look like. I made it look like that, but the pattern is not what got me to the end. Because there was some issues with it, but it's a free pattern, so hey. And as it being a free pattern, um, you get what you get. I became a grandma for the first time 6 weeks ago. Oh, and I crocheted a bunch of items for him. That's nice. Congratulations, grandma. Look at you. Yeah, I don't crochet. I don't make shawls. Although I've seen some really pretty ones, and I guess if I bought um the right yarn, um, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. Um, I don't know. I think yeah, whatever I was saying. This is not the right color. That is not the right color. Sorry, guys. I was looking for some yarn. Got it. Gray. I was looking for gray. Um, but yeah. Um, yeah. This is not right. That is just not right. Because that's right. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. See, this is what happens when I'm supposed to be following a pattern. um, I go, oh, hold on a second. Yeah, I go, oh, that looks funny. It is what it is, and I keep going. That's what I do. Like, oh, it is what it is. I thought that I had done the last row backwards. That doesn't even make any sense. Um, yeah, starting from the end and going to the beginning instead of starting from the beginning and going to the end. That's backwards, right? Um, but when I looked at it, I think I did it right. So, but I was not going to take it out and redo it because I already cut the yarn. So that's done. Once I've cut the yarn, it's done. Whether it's right or wrong, it's done. Yeah. What was it? There was something I wanted to talk about tonight, and I forgot. It'll come back to me though, so that's good. So, what seeds did y'all drop today? Or what seeds are y'all dropping tomorrow? Or, yeah, y'all know what the question is. What's going on in your garden? That's what the question is. What's going on in your garden? I planned to drop seeds um, today and yesterday and today, but I didn't get to it. But I'll get to it tomorrow. It rained today, so that's perfect. I usually run out there in the rain to drop seeds, but today it was thunder and lightning, so I didn't go out. Plant some flowers. That's good. The pattern I'm using is helping me with tension. Yeah, the more you knit, crochet, the better your tension will get. And so, yeah, that part. Is this right? Yeah, that's right. So, yeah. Tomorrow I will plant peas. Oh, my peas are flowering. Um, my the sweet peas are just sweet peas. Alaska peas, something, non-arrow pea. I don't know. Peas, green peas, sweet peas, May peas, June peas. We call them in North Carolina May peas. Um, Mine got a bloom on it, so I should have peas in a little bit. Um, but yeah, you're planting peas tomorrow. Um, I took out some herbs to plant and some vegetables. I want to plant some, corn. Oh, man. Itchy nose. Allergies, y'all. Um, Green beans. I planted some green beans. Some green beans are coming up. I want to plant a second round of green beans, um, so that I'll have them continue. I want to have them continuously throughout the growing season this year. So I need to plant some more green beans. within the next couple of days because the ones that I planted 2 weeks ago, I guess about 2 weeks ago, are up and looking good. They have real true leaves on them. So there's that. But then I also want to plant some chamomile, lavender, dill, fennel, and cucumbers. I was like, what was the other thing I wanted to plant? Cucumbers. I want to plant my first round of cucumbers. Um, because I want a lot of cucumbers too. Let's see. Oh yeah, I planted corn too. I was thinking about planting corn. I have this one container out there that I was thinking about putting corn just in that one container, just planting a bunch of them real close. But I haven't had real good luck with corn, so yeah, there's that. And I don't want to waste space on something that's not going to give me food. Um, I will redo my moringa and roselle tomorrow. I'm soaking my seeds. Yeah, I need to do my roselle. I haven't done it yet, and I should have gotten it started already. But I will do my roselle. My moringa is, where are you? I know where you are. I know where you are. You're in North Carolina. I just had to look at your name again. Um, my moringa is alive. So when it gets cold, I pull it into the garage. Now, my garage generally stays above 60 degrees, even on the coldest days. It might get down in the 50s, but rarely. So that's the temperature that my moringa is all winter long. But it doesn't get a lot of light because I don't have a grow light in the garage. And so it doesn't get a lot of light, and the temperature is pretty. I mean, the temperature doesn't go low, so it doesn't get freezing. And my moringa just goes dormant for the winter in there. And then once it gets warm enough, once the temperature, overnight temperature in there gets warm enough, it starts putting on leaves. I know it's time to take it out. And so I just took it out. No, I didn't take it out yet. It's still in there, but I noticed it was putting on some new leaves. And so it's going out tomorrow. I got to find a good spot for it to go. But it's in a container. And it really doesn't make sense to put moringa in a container. So there's that. Um, but anyways, what I was saying is that my moringa is still alive. I'm trying to find a place to put it in the ground, and I'm wondering if it will just die back um in the ground, or will it die in the ground? So yeah, I don't know. A patio corn plant. I don't know patio corn plant. I'll have to look it up. Succulent seeds. Right now I have scallions, a pomegranate tree, and 4 varieties of blueberries. My pomegranate tree is just now beginning to put on leaves this year. Last year I took it out of a container and put it in the ground. It grew 3 feet when I did that. Hey, Mike. So, yeah. But, yeah. Scallion. I do have some scallions out there. What do I have? My garden is actually got a few things out there. I got it from Burpee. God's Desire for Me. I got mine is from seed. Mine is from seed. It's just I bought one, and I took a bunch of the seeds and threw them in a um, container and threw some soil on it, and a bunch of them came up, and one survived. The bunch of them came up. I think I left them. I might have left them. I remember having a tray of them in small cups, and but one of them survived. I don't know what I did different. I didn't treat them all the same, so I don't know what I did. Anyway. Oh, lots of new leaves. Good. Has it bloomed before? Uh, the patio corn is from burpees. Okay. Um, yeah, mine is just now beginning to leaf out my pomegranate. But like I said, that one is from seed. I don't know if it'll ever produce. But I do know that there are pomegranate trees, that there is a pomegranate tree in Montgomery, Alabama, that produces fruit on the regular because it's at my church. That's why I wanted a tree, because I was like, oh, you can grow pomegranates here? Cool. How you doing, Mike? What seeds did you drop today? And do you knit Continental, or what's the other one? See, y'all, I can't even remember what it's called. My brain is not with it today. And I'm losing stitches. What's going on here? Hey, my Renaissance Grandma, how are you? What seeds did you drop today? Or what seeds are you going to drop tomorrow? What else am I dropping? Some herbs, some beans. Yeah. And then in 2 weeks, I'm going to drop some more onions, carrots, fennel in 2 weeks. Onions, carrots, fennel. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I dropped nothing today, recorded a tour video. That's what I need to be doing, but I'm not a content creator. My 5-year-old pomegranate has not given fruit, yet it's not from seed. Really? Hmm. WIG 2024 ends Friday. And I might go out with yeah, silently. It's not that I didn't do well. Everything in there is growing like crazy. And I've harvested off of everything multiple times. I just haven't done a video. I just haven't done a video. I just haven't done a video. And I may not do a video. Okay, be right back. Wife's home. Dropping hydroponic bok choy, thyme, Swiss chard, kale tomorrow. I need to do hydroponic tomorrow, my Renaissance grandma. Hmm. I want to do ground cherries. I want to do um I forgot, but I want to do ground cherries. Um and I want to do some lettuce. I'm having a hard time with lettuce. I don't know what's going on with me and lettuce. But I'm gonna drop some lettuce seed outside tomorrow, because I got plenty of seed. Some of it ought to come up. So that's tomorrow. But I want to put some lettuce in the hydroponic because my lettuce never did come up um, for WIG 2024. Don't know why, but it never did. I was trying to think of what else I wanted to put in that hydroponic besides some ground cherries. I harvest my lettuce from my hydroponic. Good deal. I've done the baby choy in there, had no problem. And I've done, what are the green ones that I did? No. Wasn't lettuce. Oh, I can't think right this minute. Anyways, I had something in there that was kind of, well, the baby choy. I don't know what it was, but I had something that was kind of a green that was like a cut and come again, and it was doing really well in there. Even my celery does well in there. It doesn't get big, but it continues to grow. Hey, GT Junior, how you doing? I'm gonna do this the right way. Oh no, it's just one. We can do it that way. I gave up on lettuce. It doesn't grow for me in zone 8B. I've grown it here once. One time I've grown it and I had really good luck with it. And then not only can I not grow it, I can't get it to germinate. I don't know what that's all about. Hey, official Jamie, how are you? Let's see, what's the weather for Anchorage? Conditions are partly cloudy with a temperature of 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind is blowing from the southwest at 4 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 50%. I'm okay. How are you? I'm good. Hmm, mostly good. Hey, Ivy, how are you? Did you guys do okay in the, the storm earlier today? We didn't get much of anything here, just a little thunder, lightning, a little wind. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's grandma. Mia. What seeds did you plant today? What pattern did you start today? What's on your hook? What's in your cup? I have some water in my cup. Bottoms up. Just water. Good water. Hey, hi everybody. I slept right through it. Yeah. It blew through relatively quickly. Um, I was actually surprised this morning when I got up and it wasn't here because it was supposed to be earlier getting here. And then when I looked at the radar, it was like, oh, and it was like arriving in Montgomery like around 1-ish, I think. It was 11 when it kind of came through here. And by 1 it was gone. Sun was shining and Bella was outside. But yeah. So what seeds did you plant? What project did you start? What are you working on? The Soil Family Expo is this week, y'all. Um, if you're close and you can go, it's a great opportunity to meet some really nice people in the community. Sherry and Bobby Black from Black's Tropical Homestead host the Soil Family Expo in Savannah, Georgia, the first weekend in April. This will be the fourth year, I think, that they've had it. If you have the opportunity to go, Yeah. And you don't have to go for the whole thing. I mean, if you're close enough that you can drive up for the day, going for a day is fun. There's activities every day. I think Thursday they're gonna go visit a nursery. I think Friday there's like a social on the waterfront and maybe dinner. And then Saturday there's usually the event at the Children's Museum. Oh, yeah. And then Sunday, there's usually a breakfast followed by a visit to a nursery. Oh, yeah, there's usually a dinner on Thursday, too. On Thursday, I think there's going to be a visit to a nursery and a dinner as well. So, yeah, I dropped candy roaster, carrot, snow peas, cucumber, garden rocket, mango, melon, banana, melon, strawberries, pink eye, eggplant over the last few days. I had a question about one of those things. I want to know how your snow peas do. Um, yeah, Nightbot. If you want to drop your link, you can just type in hashtag drop. Yeah, Jamie, you've been busy getting that garden going. I- I'm actually I'm excited to hear but see all of it. Girl, you're gonna love the candy roaster squash. I'm just telling you. Um, and even if you don't, um, no, you're gonna love it. um, I'm gonna plant some more of that this year too. I need to make sure I have my seeds. I'm gonna plant some candy roaster. I'm out of space. I've got more things I want to plant than I have space to plant. So I don't know what I'm gonna do or how I'm gonna do. But the candy roaster, you only need one plant. Well, it just depends on how the size of your family and how much you love them. But one plant is gonna give you food for days. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just have to stay on top of the bugs. Yeah. I noticed mosquito larvae in one of my water containers. I had to get out the mosquito bits. Um, and I hadn't seen that, since last summer. So it's like the first time I've seen them this season. And I know that's not a garden pest, that's a pest against me. Because if they're out there, they eat me alive and I won't go out in my garden. And then ants. I just had to treat for fire ants in one of my garden beds. Uh, Ants are, yeah. Bella is right beside me. She's breathing heavy, if you wonder what that is. I'm still working on the blanket project for my son. Um, I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but I'm working on it. I'm good. I think I'm gonna run out of yarn. And which means basically it means the blanket is not gonna be as big as I wanted it to be. Um, but that's okay. It is what it is. Bella, you going to the vet? I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm pretty excited about my garden this year. Um, One, I've got more fruit. I've got more fruit. I almost doubled my fruit this year because I now have five, no, six. I now have six blueberry plants, three blackberry plants, plus the wild ones that I can't get rid of in my yard. I do have wild blackberries in my yard, y'all, but I went and bought some blackberries, but I just wanted to get out in whatever. So yeah, six blueberries, three blackberries, two apples. Stop with the balloons, you. Two apples, a pear, a peach, five plums, two figs. Actually, I have four figs, but four of them are in containers. Yeah, four figs and muscadines. I think that's the fruit I have. I may have more fruit than that. I'm trying to, I'm just saying, yeah. And my husband said to me, he's like, um, you about running out of space for fruit and fruit trees, aren't you? And I'm like, there's still grass. I want six more apple trees and pears. Look at you. I'm like, there's still grass. I'm still paying somebody to cut my yard in the back. I've got room for more trees. Hush, Bella. You're okay. I have a loquat tree on the way. I'm so excited. I don't know loquat. It's funny. I don't think I've ever seen a loquat in my life. I know I've seen a loquat tree maybe, but I don't think I've ever seen the fruit. I saw a tree last time I was in Savannah that I was like, I wonder if that's a loquat, and it had fruit on it. So maybe I've seen it before, but I don't know loquat. Anyway, I can't wait for my Costco to put out trees. I need them trees in my life. My Costco's got trees out there, but nothing worth buying. They have landscaping stuff. They don't have food. I'm like, why you don't have food? Honestly, they did have a couple of fruit trees out there. Um, but they put them out the day that we got our last frost. Hmm. I have to pot up my figs this year. You have a bunch of figs, GT Junior. I only have two varieties of figs, and I want to get another one, but I don't really like figs. I eat them though. I get a lot and I eat them. I mean, I like them, but I don't love them. I mean, if I could have a tree of a fruit that I truly love, is there a honeydew tree? I like honeydew, but yeah, and I haven't been able to grow them either. I had one from my childhood home, but never knew the name of it until I joined the garden community. Oh, I have at least 10 varieties of figs. Um, Thank you, Bella. Goodness gracious. We don't have a good selection around here. I caught the stock with a sale and got them for 18 bucks each. Yeah. There's a there's a well, I was trying to think of who I was thinking about. What kind of trees I was thinking of. Um there's a couple more fruit trees that I want. Um Most of mine. I've ordered from two different nurseries online, and I've bought from several different ones. while traveling. So I bought in Texas and I bought in Georgia, um, while traveling. Um, I have not bought from Stock Brothers. Uh-oh. It looks like my internet wants to blip for a second. I don't know what that's all about. I've not bought from Stock Brothers, but like I said, I bought from a couple nurseries online. Are the figs giving fruit? I gave up on growing those too. My figs give fruit, lots of fruit. Um, in fact, the fig was one of the first producers. I bought it. I think I bought it from Willis Nursery out of Georgia, and it gave fruit. I want to say it gave fruit the very first year, but I know it gave fruit the second year I had it in the ground. Um, the first year it put on fruit, but the fruit didn't ripen. It was it put it on late in the season. And then the winter came and killed it. Top killed it, the whole down to the ground. I thought, oh no, my fig is gone. And then five sprouts came up in the spring. Um, and I thought, well, do I need to cut it back to the main sprout or what? I said, I'm just going to leave it. And they grew up 8 feet tall and were loaded in figs. And that was the second year. It hasn't died all the way back to the ground since then. It dies, there's a little top kill with the coal every year, but that's it. And that one is the Celeste fig. Um, And then the other fig that I have is not doing much of anything right now is the brown, is it the brown? No, the Black Mission fig. It just might not be suited for here, but it's not doing much of anything right now. It's been out there. This will be the second year. So if it doesn't put on, at least put on some growth, well, it'll have another chance. Yeah, I'll give it a chance. My fig is huge. Yeah, I've never tasted a loquat before. My fig is huge. Um, yeah, my fig tree is easily 15 foot tall, if not more. Yeah, easily. So yeah, I should probably count, huh? Should I be counting? Let's see. One, two, three, four. Okay. That's good. I need seven. So I'm good. Bella is knocked out. I want I've never I don't know when are loquats in season? I guess I can look that up. My kumquat tree I think is dead. And it did so well. All of my citrus did really well over the winter. I was like, oh, everything is doing so well in the garage, da 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 da. And then next thing I knew, my kumquat started dropping leaves. And I'm like, oh no, it's dropping leaves, and it was too cold to take it outside. And so, yeah, calm down, Bella. Um, but anyway, um, I think I'm gonna lose that kumquat, and I'm mad about it too, because I spent more on that tree than all the rest of my citrus combined. Well, not really, but yeah, pretty much. And But you know, I ain't mad at it because it gave me fruit. So yeah, the first year it gave me fruit. That should have told me something was up with it. Need to give it some molasses. Y'all need to tell me about this molasses. I don't know anything about molasses. Is that sulfur? Does it need sulfur? I don't know. What am I talking about? Or is it just the carbs or what? I don't know. What is it? So tell me about it. What does the molasses do? Because I'll go get some. It's the sugar. Oh, blackstrap unsulfured. Okay, it's the sugar. And you just give it to what plants does it work for? And if it's the sugar, then why don't I just give it sugar? I mean, why do I have to have molasses? I got sugar, minerals, and sugar. Okay. What do y'all be giving molasses to? Y'all be feeding y'all plants. My poor plants are starving. They don't get no food and they don't get no water. Well, it rains, so they got water. But yeah, they're like, "Are you ever gonna water us?" And I'm like, "You're supposed to be able to thrive in this environment. Get to thriving." What time is it? 10:30, 11:30. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 511 kelp. And I ain't doing 511. Nope. I ain't doing kelp either. Nope. I'll do, I guess I ain't know you're doing the molasses. But what am I supposed to be giving it to? Can you stop? She panting like she been running, but she just been sleeping. I don't know what's wrong with her. She going to the doctor though. 511 kelp. I just no 511. What is going on? I'm getting notifications about oh, something's in my backyard. I think it's just the wind blowing though. You can put molasses in the hole before you plant your tomato and trees. Okay, flowering plants. Okay, okay. Might have to go get some molasses for my flowering plants. So, it's early in the season for most people. Um, have you guys had any pest problems yet? And if so, what are you dealing with? The only thing that I've had to deal with so far are horticultural molasses. Okay, maybe that's what I need. The only thing I've had to deal with thus far is ants, really. Um, and that's not really a pest in the garden per se. It doesn't bother the plants. Um, it just they bother me. I was in the garden weeding and noticed I had ants all over and got a bunch of bites and yeah. Carpenter bees. I do have carpenter bees. Um, it's just part of living here. Yeah. Um, but I have a bunch of bees as well. I think I did a little short video. I think I should, yeah, I think I did a short video on some of, no, maybe just one of the bees. I should have done some of them because there was probably at least three different varieties of bees out there that day on those particular flowers. It's so much so that I don't I make sure I have on shoes. Well, I'm supposed to wear shoes all the time, but I like to get my feet on the ground on occasion. But when those flowers are in bloom, I make sure I have shoes on because there's so many bees on them. So if they're not in the garden, I treat them with regular fire ant, um, whatever you get from the big box stores, the poison, the real stuff. If they're not in the garden, if they're in the garden, mm, nothing that I've used has worked. Basically, um, now people swear by a lot of different things, but to be honest, nothing that I've used in the garden has worked. I did have some in one container one year, and I did the take a shovel and dig some up from one place and go and put them on the other, and they'll kill each other. That worked in that container, but if you are doing that, you better hope that they're close enough together that you don't have to hold that shovel long because they will be up that handle of that shovel and biting you before you can dump them off. I'm just saying, calm down. Um, but yeah, I have used diatomaceous earth on fire ants. It seems to slow them down. Sometimes will make them move. It doesn't kill them, doesn't get rid of them completely. They're still around. I have used grits. Um, didn't help at all. Um, I guess they liked it. I don't know. Um, I have used boiling water. Um, I don't think it bothers them much. I have used Dawn. It will make them move. It won't kill them. Yeah. And sometimes moving is enough. If they move, 1 foot over and they're not in my garden anymore, I'm okay with that because then I'll treat them with the stuff that will kill them. Actually, that stuff really doesn't kill them either. Usually, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that anything works. Yeah, boiling water. I've tried it. I've tried Dawn and boiling water. I've tried just Dawn. I haven't tried lye soap. I wonder if that would work. But yeah, in the garden, I usually will put DE on them, and they usually will move out of the garden eventually, slowly. But yeah, there is a video on fire ants, keeping fire ants out of your garden. Um, and I don't know if the method works. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it has to do with the amount of organic matter in your soil. Is if you can change ratio of organic to inorganic matter in your soil, it'll make the environment so that they won't come there. And I don't know, I can't remember I can't remember what the ratio is. I mean, I can't remember if it's more organic matter, like, more compost, or less organic matter. I don't know. Anyways, but it's a video on YouTube. So you look up um, fire ants, how to keep fire ants out of your garden or something like that. There's a video on it. I watched this. It's been years since I saw it, and I thought, oh, okay, that works for you. Cool, because it doesn't sound like it's something that would be easy to implement, but maybe it is. Maybe people who use a lot of, I can't remember which way it is though. Maybe people who build their soil in certain ways don't have the problem. Yeah, I thought fire ants don't like citrus. Maybe, maybe I don't know. I can't say I've tried that. Yeah, I can't say I've tried that. I mean, I have put citrus peels in my garden before, but I didn't do it for fire ants. I just do it for GP. If I have if I have organic citrus peels, then they go in the garden. If they're not organic, then I don't put them in the garden because they use a lot of pesticides on citrus fruit, and most of the pesticides are in the peel, so that part. Put peels in the bed, yeah. I'll have to keep that in mind. Hello, Jessica. How are you? Someone was saying that fennel helps repel or deter slugs. I think it was fennel. I don't remember where I read that. I'll have to look it up and see if there's anything to that. I just it came across somewhere, and I don't remember exactly where. But yeah. Um, but I want to grow some fennel anyway. I do have slugs in my garden, not bad. I don't usually get very much slug damage, um, but I do have them. Um, they're not so much in the garden, but they're on the property, and sometimes I see them in the garden, but I haven't seen much damage from them. Although um, that may be why certain things don't germinate. They may be germinating and the slugs get into them um, before they can get their little heads up out of the dirt. So there's that. I don't know. What you working on, Jessica? How's your garden growing? I keep hearing things outside. I think it's bugs. You know, those beetles. What are they called? I don't know. Anyways, the beetles. They are attracted to the light, and I think they're just hitting the wall. What did I say? She said true. Whatever I said. Okay, is this 6 or 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last row. Y'all want to see that? Last row. Let me just get this right. Not the last row, because guess what? I've missed a color. I knew something was wrong. That wasn't supposed to be gray. It was supposed to be blue. That's okay. And it wasn't supposed to be 7 rows. It was supposed to be 5. That's okay. So what do y'all do when you find out you just did 7 rows more than you needed to do in the wrong color? What do you do? What do? I just lay it down. I'll come back to it later. Because I'm gonna have to frog it, and I'm gonna have to wind up that yarn, because I was doing center pull, so I'm gonna have to wind it up so it doesn't tangle, or we'll have a mess on our hands. So that's what I do. I'll just put it down because I don't want to get upset about it. I'm not going to get upset about it. I just put it down. But yeah, frog it. Frog it, frog it, frog it, frog it, frog it. I am, but I'm not going to do it right now. Um, I'm just going to put it down right now, because if I had been paying close enough attention, then I would have done that in the first place. So obviously, I can't do 2 things at one time. That would be on a live stream and follow a pattern. That'd be 3 things, and crochet while following a pattern. So yeah, gotta frog it. It's okay. It's okay. Um, Weather for Montgomery. Conditions are partly cloudy with a temperature of 63 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind is blowing from the west northwest at 4 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 97%. Yeah, it does feel like that. 63 degrees. It feels good out there, actually. But it is humid. It's very humid. What are your plans for planting in April? Um, when do you guys put out your watermelon, your melons, your late summer stuff, and your fall stuff? Um, I usually I'm not doing melons this year. Well, I am gonna do honeydew and maybe Korean melon. But other than that, those are the only ones I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna probably put the seeds out here within the next 3 weeks. For those that kind of take a long time, but we got a long growing season um, in there. I'm probably gonna put my um, I'm probably gonna wait a little bit to put out my squash, my winter squash. I'm gonna plant at least 2 different kinds of winter squash. I'm gonna wait a little bit on that to see after people start harvesting. Well, after people, the summer squash get going, then I'm gonna put that out. I'm not gonna plant summer squash, but I am planting cucumbers, and I'm gonna see if the see what the vine borer does. I want to try to get my winter squash out after the vine borer cycle, maturity cycle has cycled through. So maybe um, I'll get more of that candy roaster this year than I did last year because the vine borers got it last year or something got it last year. Um, none of mine actually matured last year. We have some low temps coming next week, so I'll probably wait until late April. Potatoes in April. Um, I don't know what our temperatures are looking like next week. Um, oh no, it looks no. I think yeah. I don't know what next week is looking like, so I'll have to look at the 10-day forecast. But this coming up week is gonna be the lowest. It's gonna be the lowest is gonna be is 52. That's today. Every day is gonna be warmer than today. So yeah, that means I need to get out there and do some things. I have built a small structure for melons. It doesn't get hot here. Oh, okay. We get plenty of heat. And so we got a long enough season. Um, Staying on top of the watering is probably the hardest part with anything growing here in the summer. It just gets so hot that when you have to water twice a day, that's kind of ridiculous. So, but yeah, yeah. I still have quite a few things I need to do in the garden. I still have stuff to bring out of the garage and put back outside. Like I said, I got a lot of fruit in containers. Um, and I need to find permanent places for those. A lot of them I just potted up, within the last couple of months, and they don't have their permanent spot yet. So I got to figure that out. Um, so, um, and that's hard because I want, I don't want to have too many things in my driveway because I live in an HOA and somebody may have something to say about it, and then we just don't want to go down that path. And so, but I do have quite a few things in my driveway right now. And so I need to get those moved into my backyard behind the fence. But where I put them, I need to put them strategically behind the fence because um, they need to be in a good place where I can get to them to water and where they can get the light requirements that they need. Oh, give me some days. Gigi Junior says, I hope we get some high days of 52. Yeah, that's our low for today. And we probably at it right about now. um, I was standing out there and I was thinking, no, it says the temperature is currently 63. I was standing out there and I was saying, well, it rained today. Why isn't it cooler? Calm down, Bella. Calm down, sweetie. You're okay. You're okay. It's the hot days. Drinking water, y'all. Drinking water. Conditions, weather, Fayetteville. Conditions are partly cloudy with a temperature of 65 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind is blowing from the west southwest at 9 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 87%. Settle down, girl. Settle down. You're okay. Mm. Your temperatures are very similar to the temperatures here. 63. You guys are 65. Yeah. Y'all might be getting that rain that we got earlier. It was pushing through fairly quickly, so I don't know if you guys got any of it or not. But yeah, it was pushing right through. I don't know how fast it was going, but it was going at a pretty good clip. Yeah. Bella's over here panting really hard. I gotta get her in to see the vet. I don't know what's going on with her breathing. Or if it's just her body temperature regulation is something's off though. It came and went. Yeah. Yeah, it was fast. It was fast. I was worried that it would knock the power out. I had a telehealth appointment today, and it came through just before that meeting, and I was like, man, if it knocks the power out, then we're gonna have to reschedule this. But it did not. Didn't even mess with the signal hardly. So there you go. There you go. There you go. Are any of y'all watching the basketball tournament? What is it? Yeah, whatever it is. The NCAA basketball tournament. I'm not watching it. I was just wondering, go team, whatever your team is, since my team is not in it. So go team, whatever your team is. Oh, it's funny because um both of my sons would be interested in it. Um, and they're watching it. But they're not talking to me about it. And it's funny to me because they go, Mama, you don't know anything about sports. Mama, you don't know anything about sports. I'm like, son, do you know where I went to school? Do you know what state I'm from? And they're like, well, this is Alabama, so everything is about football here. And I was like, whatever. It was like, but this is the one sport that um, that if you're from North Carolina, you're always interested in. Um, yeah, well, not really, but most people from North Carolina are pretty much interested in the basketball and in the national and in the NCAA championship. Um, but my sons are convinced that I don't know anything about sports, and I'm good with that. I am good with that. So, but yeah, go team, go. Wow. Someone was saying, oh, official Jamie was saying that she had planted a bunch of stuff. I gotta get my Jamaican sorrel started. Um, I didn't get any to germinate last year, so I gotta make sure I get some of that started, and get it out in the yard. And then, yeah, I have a bed It's on the actually it's on the side of my house, in front of the fence, where I usually put my Jamaican sorrel. There's certain things that are pretty when as it grows, and I like to so I'll put some of those in the front yard. And Jamaican sorrel is one of them. I think it's pretty. Not everybody thinks it that way, but most people think it's a horticultural plant when they see it in the yard and go, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a hibiscus," and keep it moving because it has pretty flowers on it. But yeah, I want to get some Jamaican sorrel going this year. I also want to plant some flowers in the ground. Just got to find a couple spots to put some. Um, Speaking of flowers, do y'all grow in hostas? Anybody grow in hostas? I have a bunch of hostas. My husband was looking, and I were looking at it. And I was like, "Do you need some hostas? That we need to move some of these hostas." He's like, "Yeah, I probably can find a place for some." So, um, we need to thin them out. It's funny because the ones that are on the back side of the house that are north facing, um, get more of they do get more of the afternoon sun during the summertime, and they almost always get heat scald on them, the sun scald on them. But they multiply way better than the ones that are on the east side of the house that only gets the morning sunlight and don't they never get sun damage on them, but they pretty much are the same size. The clump is the same size. It hasn't multiplied hardly at all. And so I'm thinking, there must be a happy medium between that north facing side and the west facing side as far as what they're getting in terms of sunlight and moisture. Um, there must be somewhere in between that will be ideal for these because the ones are multiplying, but the other ones are just more lush looking. Um, they're not multiplying, but when they do come in, they're lush looking and everything. So I don't know. So I have some I brought last year, and they're coming up now. Yeah, yeah, mine. They're about 2 weeks up, so they got some good size on them. About a week ago, I went out there and they were yay big. And I was like, ooh, this one's a little thin over here. This one's getting thick over here. So I moved, broke a couple pieces off and moved them because I have a whole row of them. So to kind of thicken out the row. Anyways, but yeah, they come up. It's like it rained one day and the next day they were twice as big. So I was like, yeah. They're edible. I've never eaten them, but I've heard that they're edible. I'd look it up before I would eat them. They say you get the early shoots in the spring when they first start to come up. You harvest those early shoots and cook them like asparagus, I think they said. I don't know. It's worth looking into, um, you know, to know if you had to eat them. If I had to eat them, I'd have a meal because I have that many of them. And I would have some to leave out there so I could have another meal, whenever. So there's that. Do you guys save your own seed and do you test it? I don't test. I'm bad. I do save seed and I will share save seed with people, but I never test it. I just save it. I mean, I only test it in that I use it. So I've saved seed successfully and they have germinated, in the following years and produced plants. But I didn't test it. I was just wondering. I know some people do testing on their saved seeds, and I probably should start to do that. But I don't know. There's a lot of things to do, and that's just not high on my list of things. Uh, anyways, but yeah, I do. I need to. I'm thinking about when I think about the seeds I save seeds from things I grow, but I also save seeds from things I buy at the store. And sometimes the seeds of things that you buy at the store are just not. Um, Sometimes they're you don't know what you're gonna get. That's what I should say. You don't know what you're gonna get. Like there's some tomato that I have growing right now from last year that I just really love. It's called the Sugar Bomb. It's a grape tomato. It's very nice. And last year I just cut one in half and squeezed all the seeds out in the soil. And they popped up because you know how cherry tomatoes are. They just popped up. They popped up and then I just put the plants all over. And one of them I had in a, well, actually two, I had in a container. And when it got cold, I just put it in the garage. And so it's got flowers all over it. Um, I don't know that the tomatoes that come off of it are as good as the ones at the store. Um, they they look the same, but so far they haven't been as good. But it might be because they were so late in the season before I got them going last year. So I'm hoping I get some earlier in the season so I can see if they are as good. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely save seeds from that again. But then sometimes you get stuff and you save the seeds, from the store and it grows, but it never produces much of anything, or it doesn't grow very well, or I don't know. That's just what I found. You guys found that to be the case as well. Um, but like my garlic is grocery store garlic, so not seeds, but I just planted some of that. Um, I've got onions that are grocery store onions. All of my scallions are grocery store scallions, and the seeds are good on those as well. I've saved seeds from those, planted it, and harvested that too. So those worked out really well. Um, Let me think what else I have from the grocery store. I've grown potatoes from grocery store potatoes, sweet potatoes from grocery store sweet potatoes. So yeah, but those are not seeds. And then citrus. I've got citrus that's grown from seed. I don't know if it'll ever produce anything, but I do have citrus that came from seeds. So we'll see if they ever produce. I try to some things I grow just for seed. Like the lady cream peas. I mean, I eat them, but they're not one of my favorite things to eat, but I keep growing some every year because I want to have seeds for them every year because I feel like that's a survival crop. The seeds keep really well. The plants produce and then any seeds that fall on the ground, they'll come back the next year. I mean, the seeds keep in the soil until the next growing season. So, and I've got some coming up from that I didn't plant. I promise you, I've got some coming up from 2 years ago. I didn't plant them this year. I didn't plant them last year. And I didn't plant them the year before. So from 3 years ago, it's acting up today. The other day when I wanted it to do it for what's the name's birthday, it wouldn't do it at all. But yeah, the Lady pea and the pink eye purple hull pea, those are some that I'm gonna grow a few of those every year just to make sure I have seeds. A continuous supply of seeds of those because that's definitely it's a nice. I like it. I like it as a survival food because one is they're easy to grow. They produce a lot. You can leave them on the vine until they are about ready to pop open that when they've dried. And then the seeds keep, they store easily. They're easy to store because they dry. They're dry, and the seeds are viable for a long time. So definitely, I see that definitely as a survival food. Um, so definitely want to make sure I have some of those seeds. I mean, it would be easy enough to build up a bank of them, but yeah. Hey, Bridget, how are you? But yeah, that's one of the things I want to do more of too, is saving seeds. The other problem with saving seeds though is knowing what you actually have. Weather for Minneapolis. Conditions are clear with a temperature of 34. What? Let me start again. Weather for Minneapolis. Conditions are clear with a temperature of 34 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind is blowing from the southeast at 2 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 74%. Wow. I don't know who Minneapolis pissed off. I don't know. But somebody. I'm just saying somebody. Well, thank you. I'm working away on my stormtrooper blanket, getting close to the end of rows. Only 43 rows left to go. Okay, cool. Stormtrooper. Nice. Nice. Oh, I was gonna say about saving seed is knowing what you have. I planted Alabama blue collards and Georgia cabbage collards in the same bed. Um, Now I got seed off of the Alabama blue collards and I got seed off of the Georgia cabbage collards. But because those two will cross easily and there was no controlled pollination, so I don't know what those seed will produce. So I can't really say, I can't really say, oh, I have some Georgia cabbage collard seeds. No, I don't. I have some seeds that came from Georgia cabbage collards. I have some seeds that came from Alabama blue collards. But what I have is probably a hybrid of the two. But is that a problem? It's not a problem for anybody who wants some collards. It's a problem if you want to know what kind of collards you have. So yeah. Mm. They just say that, Mike. Swedish people love Minnesota. It's like Sweden weather. They just say that. They don't really love it. They have to say it. Melons seeded for microgreens from the grocery store. Really? You're gonna do microgreens from your melon seed? Okay. I ain't mad at it. I don't know. I didn't know they was edible. The greens for melons were edible. I didn't know. Learn something new every day. But yeah, so if you have plants that will easily um, hybridize or cross pollinate or whatever the word is, um, then you don't know what your seeds, the purity of your seeds are. And that could be a problem, like I said, if you're trying to maintain that. I'm not. If I was trying to maintain it, then I would only grow one kind of brassica in my garden because they easily cross pollinate. Um, Same thing with squash. I think squash, I don't know how easy it is, but I think they can cross pollinate. So you can have a squash. Um, if you have several squash plants growing, you can easily end up with a cross. The seed can end up being a cross between the several varieties that you have. But anyways, that's enough about seed saving. Pine trees, etc. So many settle there. Yeah, they settle there. That's why it's called settling. It's not because they preferred there. It would be called preferring. Don't listen to me. That was stupid. Sometimes I crack myself up. That's too funny. I don't know, Mike. I just think y'all made somebody mad. Y'all just made somebody mad. That's all it is. Because really, why is it so cold? That's what I want to know. Why is it so cold? Why is it always colder there than it is in Alaska? That's what I want to know. uh, I just made protein shake with instant coffee and cream. It's tasty. I put it in the freezer and it's like a dessert. Oh, what kind of protein? It's like a powder or, yeah, whatever. It's brisk. Okay, if you say so, Mike. Calm down. All right, all right, all right, already. Y'all hear Bella? She's struggling. I don't know what's going on with my girl. A whey protein powder. Okay. I used to do those protein powders. I don't do them anymore. I think I was addicted to them for a minute. uh, it was like, I need my protein powder. I need my protein. But then, yeah. And I could tell you which ones were good and which ones were trash. um, I never did like the chocolate ones, though. I only like the vanilla ones. I'm semi-fasting this week. Oh, what's a semi-fast, Mike? I don't understand a semi-fast. I might be fasting this week. I just don't know what I'm fasting from. Settle down, girl. Settle down. I'm I am journaling my food this week, logging my food this week. Actually, for 2 weeks, I'm logging my food, um, journaling. I think I showed y'all. Anyways, my food diary. I went to nutrition class. I have a food diary and tracking my blood sugar um, for 2 weeks, and then I'll go back and we'll talk about how it went. I was telling my son that I hate to do that. I hate to do it because whenever I'm logging my food, I eat better. And I only eat better because I eat simple meals because I don't want to write down complicated things. And I don't want to figure out the micros in complicated things. Like if it was something, like if, for example, if I was going to make a pot of chili, I don't want to figure out what the micros are in that pot of chili. Now I have a app where I can put the recipe in it and it'll figure it out for me. But I got to put the recipe in the app. So yeah, that thing. Um, but so that's what happens if I'm logging my food. Then I'm eating way simpler meals because I don't want to do the hard work of it. It's like soup meal, peanut butter wrap meal, and a shake meal, and tea for the rest of the day. Okay. Okay. That sounds interesting. Yeah. But yeah. So I might be fasting. I might be fasting from complicated meals. Because I didn't want to figure out how many carbs were in something. It's like, so I kept it simple. It's like, oh, if I just eat this and this, I only have to count this. Which means it defeats the purpose, really. Bottom line is that defeats the purpose of logging your food, or maybe it is the purpose of logging your food. If you're trying to figure out what you're doing wrong, it's not going to help you. But if you're trying to clean up your diet, then it'll help you. It can help you because it's easier to count. And that's the other thing too. It's easier to count things that are prepackaged. I don't eat a lot of prepackaged foods, but it's tempting to eat prepackaged foods because the all of the counts and stuff are already on it versus if you're chopping up your onions and your peppers and your garlic and your tomatoes and all of the stuff, and you're putting in this and you're adding that and all of that. That's a lot of figuring out what percentage of that is a serving. Now, I'm adding a half of an onion. What percentage of that is a serving? How many servings is the entire dish and all that stuff? And it's like, yeah, keep it simple. Keep it simple. So, so yeah, I don't know whether it actually helps or not help. But see, it's not like something I'm going to do long term. So I'm only doing it for a couple of weeks. And so, is it enough to change a habit? Probably not. Uh, and what happens when I no longer recording everything. So I might, yeah, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll keep recording my meals um, for a while. Um, so yeah, it says dropping creamer after tomorrow. Really? You're dropping creamer? Are you replacing it with something good? Yeah. No, that's one thing that I do. I don't drink a lot of coffee, but if I have coffee, I'm not gonna have creamer. I'm gonna have cream. I'm gonna have regular cream. And if I can't get cream, then I'll have butter in it. But I'm gonna have some in my coffee. Just saying, I'm just going to have some cream in my coffee. But I don't drink coffee regularly. In fact, I haven't had coffee since sometime around Christmas when I had a coffee advent calendar, and I was drinking coffee over the holidays. But yeah, I've been no creamer or cream since Christmas. Okay, cool. So I gave in and got creamer. Yeah, I'm not a big coffee fan. So yeah, that part. Um, my problem is sugar, 100% sugar. But one of the things I have found, which is kind of crazy, but it's true. One of the things I found is that if I use real sugar, I use less. So I won't buy a soda. Um, but if I want a lemonade, I'll make homemade lemonade and I'll sweeten it myself with sugar. And I use way less sugar than if I were to get like a lemonade powder or pre-made lemonade or yeah, something like that. Even it doesn't really matter what it is. Anything that you put sugar in, um, I can get by with way less than if you buy um, than if you buy it, pre-made. Um, wow. I love my candy sweet coffee. Yeah. Coffee is meant to be a dessert. Actually, I learned to drink coffee black, not black, cream, no sugar is how I learned to drink coffee. Cream, no sugar. Um, because I learned to drink coffee with dessert. We would go out to eat, and whenever we go out to eat, we would get a dessert, and usually some kind of a chocolate dessert, but a dessert nonetheless. And with that dessert, I would get coffee, cream, no sugar, and because the coffee didn't need to be sweet, because the dessert was sweet, and it was kind of a balancing act, and that's how I learned to drink coffee. And then I started drinking coffee instead of dessert, and so instead of getting dessert, I would get coffee and add cream and sugar, and that was my dessert. So yeah, coffee should taste like hot cocoa or grandma's purse candy. That's funny. Oh, I love flavored coffees. I don't mind chocolate flavored coffees, but I like other flavors too. Creamer is the first step. I used to drink it black. I've never drunk it black. I always had cream. Um, Now, when I was a kid and I would get to sip on granddad's coffee spills, I had that cup in the saucer and the coffee would spill in the saucer and he would let me, yeah, that. Um, he used carnation milk and sugar, and his was sweet. He liked his creamy and sweet. And if I had to drink granddad's coffee, yeah, that's what I would have. He says, creamer is the first step. I want to get some weight off of me. I eventually want to eat in an 8 hour window. Mike says, my shirt fits me like dresses now. I lost so much weight since Christmas. You've done really well, Mike. Congratulations. I know it's hard work, but it's worth it, right? And GT Junior, you can do it. Um, you can definitely do it. And you can do it by oh my, carnation milk. You know what I'm talking about. I guess it's pet now. Well, I think they still make carnation, but it was carnation is what he used. He did not use pet. I don't get hungry, just bored and want to treat, so I make tea. Yeah. So, I was gonna say, GT Junior, you can start by just narrowing your window. Say what I don't know what your window is now, but say if you get up at 7 in the morning and you go to bed at 10 at night, you can say, well, I'm not going to eat the first hour I'm up, and I'm not going to eat the last 2 hours I'm up. And so you got whatever that window is. So seven. So that's now it's from 8 to 8. And so that's a 12-hour window. And then you can say, okay, I'm going to not eat from 8 to 7. And then the next week you bring it down. I'm not going to eat from 8 to 6. And you can keep doing that until you have the window where you want it. Yeah, but even if it's all day, GT Junior, you sleep some part of the day. So your window is probably more no more than a 12-hour window. So you can easily change it from 12 to 10 by saying, "Oh, I'm not going to eat the first hour in the last 2 hours." Yeah. And if you're not eating in those hours, what are you doing instead? Well, I'm going to get up. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and knock my exercise out. That's 30 minutes, an hour right there that you're not eating. And what are you going to do last thing before you go to bed? Last thing before I go to bed, I'm going to journal every day. And so that's at least 30 minutes that you're not eating, you're journaling. And schedule things to fill those gaps. If you know that, okay, when I get up in the morning, I'm going to go and do my exercise. And then once I get back from my exercise, I'm going to go and water all my plants. And once I get done from watering, I'm going to go and take care of the da 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 da. And then I'm going to have breakfast. You've already filled that gap of time with activities. Yeah. But anyways, that was just a suggestion. I'm not saying that's how you have to do it. There's lots of different ways to do it. Some people go cold turkey. Some people go 3 days fasting, and then they go ahead and start with whatever that window is they want to do. And some people like me don't worry about it. Some people like me don't worry about it. It's like I look at the clock and say, "Oh, I ate at 8. So I'm not going to eat before 8 in the morning. But I'm not going to eat before 8 in the morning. I'm not going to eat before 10 in the morning. My last meal was at 8. My first meal is not going to be before 10 in the morning. I don't know how many hours that is, but I know I'm not going to eat before 10 in the morning because I'm not going to want anything before 10 in the morning. And then, so what is that? So what's that? That's a 10-hour window. I can easily make that an 8-hour window. If I said, okay, um, my last meal today was at 8, and I'm not going to eat anything before 10. Let's just make that 11 and make that 7. So that means I'm going to eat between 11 and 7 tomorrow. That's doable. That's doable. But like I said, that's just a suggestion of one way. There's lots and lots of different ways to do it. And everybody does it a little bit different. And you got to do what's right for you. Lord knows that's the case for me. Um, Last year, I had a really hard time with traveling. I was on the road quite a bit last year, and it just was hard for me to stay on track with all the traveling. And so I said this year I'm not going to travel as much now. Am I doing better at getting staying on track? Nope. But I'm not gaining weight right now. So yeah. um, so yeah. But when I stay at home, I eat better because I cook, I'm cooking 90% of my meals or more. And these last couple of weeks, they've been simple meals. So, yeah. I wake up at 2 p.m., make tea. That fills me till 5. I eat soup I made for the week. At 9 p.m., I eat peanut butter wrap with a half teaspoon of jam. Then at 11, I have a shake or apple if I'm hungry. 2 a.m., I make tea and go to bed. There you go. And you got to figure out what works for you. There's certain things that I know work for other people that do not work for me. One is artificial sweetener. My problem is sweets, but I cannot with artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners make me hungry. The minute I have something that's got some kind of artificial sweetness to it, then I want something else. I'm like, what can I eat? Not what am I hungry for or whatever. It makes me mouth hungry. I guess it is mouth hungry. Um, and it's like, so I just know I have to stay away from artificial sweeteners. Um, Regular sweeteners do the same thing, but artificial sweeteners do it too. And that's the thing that I didn't know, and because I was trying to substitute, well, if I can't have that, then I'll use some Splenda in my this or blah, 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 blah. No, don't do it. Do not do it. Bread. Bread is a gateway drug. Or something like that. But yeah, some carbs do people that way. Some people it's dairy. They can do fine, but if they eat cheese, then all bets are off. Um, it's almost like it's a trigger um, of some sort. And but I know the artificial sweetener does that to me. And so yeah. Like says, if I eat bread, I'm eating a loaf. Oh, okay. I'm not, because I don't have a loaf. If I'm eating bread, it's because I made bread for a particular meal and I made enough for that meal because, yeah, I don't want to eat the loaf. I haven't had a loaf of bread in my house and I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely been several years. Um, because I don't do sandwiches at all. Um, I mean, here at home, I don't. Now, and it's funny, I will do sandwiches out, um, but I don't do sandwiches at home at all. So, but bread's one of those things. Bread's a gateway drug. No, that's not a good way to say it. Bread is a delivery tool. Bread is how you deliver the good stuff to your mouth. I mean, bread can be good itself, but really for me, bread is how you deliver the good stuff to your mouth. So, like if you like um butter, bread and butter, or you like peanut butter toast, or if you like avocado toast. If you like jelly, bread and jelly. It's bread is that thing that brings the good stuff in. You like pizza, the crust brings it to your mouth. So um, it's a delivery device. Uh, and yeah, um, if you take away the delivery device, then you have to figure out another way to get all the other yumminess. And then the yumminess is maybe not as yummy without the delivery device. Saturday I'm gonna have applesauce cake for a treat, but we quarter the recipe. It's enough for 2 servings each. Whatever we don't eat Saturdays gets trashed. Oh, cool. Yeah, applesauce cake. I haven't had applesauce. Have I ever had applesauce cake? I don't know. My mom used to make a cake called fresh apple cake. Um, It wasn't an applesauce cake, but it was made with fresh apples. It was good. I wonder if my niece has the recipe. My niece inherited the recipes. She got a lot of the recipes. Well, she lived in the same house, so she did get a lot of the recipes that were my mom's. And I'm glad for it because she makes them. There's a lot of things that my mom made that I just probably wouldn't make anymore because that part. Oh, it's applesauce walnut cake, but wife's now allergic to tree nuts. Oh, well, I'm glad she knows that what it is because an allergy and not knowing what it is can be fatal. So I'm glad she knows what it is and what to avoid. But yeah, those late in life allergies are not fun. My son's been allergic to nuts, peanuts and tree nuts his whole life, well, since he was a toddler. So he's never had it, so he can't miss it. Um, but um, but when you have had it before and then you find out, I had a friend who became allergic to um, nuts and shrimp. She was allergic to cinnamon. I knew she was allergic to cinnamon, but she became allergic to nuts and shrimp. And it was like, and she loved shrimp. She was like, I'm just gonna take some medicine, take some Benadryl, and then I'm gonna eat the shrimp anyway. I'm like, no, you're not. Not not around me, you're not. Cause I don't want to see what happens when that Benadryl doesn't work. She's super bummed. Yeah. As I would be as well, super bummed. But yeah. So, but yeah, my mom used to make there was a nut cake that she made for my dad. It wasn't walnut. It was mixed. Um, it had walnuts and pecans and lots of different ones. Dad loved it. It was like one of his favorites that she made for him. But she was known for making cakes. She made cakes all the time. People, she it wasn't a business or anything like that, but people, knew her for her cooking as well as baking skills. But I wish that I had some of the recipes, some of her recipes that I don't have. One of them was bread, just plain white bread. I used to make that all the time. It was one of her recipes. Um, um, but I didn't end up with those recipes. But I think my niece has a lot of them, so that's good. And then a lot of things she didn't have recipes for, which I think is interesting. Um, a lot of the things that you eat on a everyday basis, you don't have recipes for. I remember the first time, well, we a group put together a cookbook, and somebody said, "Put your sweet potato pie recipe in there." And I'm like, "I don't have a recipe for sweet potato pie," and it's like, "Well, just write up one," and I'm like, "Okay." And I did write one and put it in there, and it's so funny. Years later, I go back and I looked at that recipe, and I'm like, I don't make sweet potato pie like that at all. Ugh. Most of the um, measurements are right, but some of the things I just you don't. It's you. What am I trying to say? Some things you add to a consistency. Yeah. She lost the recipe years ago. We found one that was close and tried it until it was right. Yeah, and that's what you do. And for a lot of things, you know, some things I will dump it in my hand and dump it in. Right, that's about a tablespoon. That's how much. But I know it's about a tablespoon. Yeah, no. And then some things you sprinkle it in until it looks about right. I don't know how much that is. I just don't know how much that is. And then some things you measure it. You like flour, you sift it twice, then you measure it and you scrape it off and you don't tap it. But with other things, you measure it and you tap it down and you press it down. And so when you start telling people how to make something and you start telling them, this much of that much, anyway, it's hard. Custards are easy to go by feel. Yes, and that's what a sweet potato pie is. It's basically a custard, and you have to go by feel. And the funny thing is, some people add ingredients that add different ingredients for different things in the same custard. Um, Technically, a sweet potato pie is an egg custard, and the egg is what gives it its. Mm, um, but some people don't add as many eggs in it, and they add flour to give it that texture. And it's like, it's a whole different thing. Its ratio is like 6 eggs to 1 can of condensed milk, pureed squash, or sweet potato. Right. And it's and it's funny too, because I remember making pie and going, pouring the milk in and mixing it in, pouring, mixing, pouring, go, oh, that's enough. And it's like, yeah. And what consistency do you want it to be? What did I say? I think I actually said like a custard. Um, but pureed squash or sweet potato. But the thing of it is, the consistency is different if you use squash. It's a different consistency, and it makes a different pie. Yeah, that part. Um, so, but it is what it is. Y'all, it's been 2 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and end this um in the next 5 minutes. Hey, Analytic Gardener. Thank you. You have a great night. Yeah, in the next 5 minutes, well, 4 minutes, I'm gonna end this. It's been a good um night, kind of chill and everything. Um, 5, Mike, not 50. 5. You're funny. Y'all have a good evening. I will see you next week, Monday night at 11 p.m. Central Time. Same time, same place. And I don't know what we'll be talking about next week, whatever life brings. Whatever life brings, gardening, crocheting, playing with strings, that kind of thing. I'll definitely should have some updates in my garden, um, since I haven't done any updates lately. But anyway, thank you everybody for being here, and everybody, those who are in the replay. If you got this far, thank you so much. And I will see you next week. Bye, y'all.